The origin of this book for me was partly personal. I moved to New York City and discovered
people, irrespective of their country of origin, their political leanings or affiliations, their creeds.
Universe. We're actually talking about the origin and evolution of ourselves.
Everything we can see on our
a civilization, if you look at the origin of the word,
is because that was the origin of it. Look, I think the threat
about the accountability and the origin of democratic purpose, democratic.
The origin of the fire was never determined. Perhaps a wood stove overheated.
Now, sabermetrics has a funny origin. Here's the origin.
It's about their origin. Stories are how we meet people.
Native-born North Carolinian of any origin whatsoever who will pick cotton anymore.
And the people around us. And that one, the origin of that chapter came when I asked my great-aunt.
You probably have a marginal note in your Bible that says source or origin. This isn't saying that he is.
So the origin of this particular play was my last play.
Original citations here. Why don't you, this other person had 14 original citations.
Shared authority. How do you take the origin of faith, of
that has a very interesting origin, and maybe you'll explain.
Yeah. Fluids to determine if they're of human origin, to determine if they are indeed the fluids that we think.
To the origin of presidential being in a way.
The origin of those gamma rays is still pretty much a mystery, and it's a mystery LIGO.
People about their stories, their origin stories, and really what they
doing that. This is family of origin stuff. This is my mother issues coming up again. I better get to yoga. I better.
They may bond over national origin, and so religious differences may become less.
Yep.
Yeah. Culture
of heavenly origin and is normally repressed by our mind, but we can get in touch with it, and when we get in touch with it.
Being asked to say a few words about the project's origins, particularly from the gallery's point of view.
Environment, but the interest rate's already 0%, so that's the origin of why they're trying to come up with all this new stuff.
Of the families of origin. So we have a moral obligation.
What is the origin? Why did we democratize?
And that's the origin of life, as we understand it so far.
How do you take kind of the origin story of America, if you think about
present of the origin of life? One might as well think of the origin of matter.
Parental issues. Yes, he had family issues because some of those came out of his own family of origin into his family of choice. And
the origin of this way of thinking is in the hands
that are collected in this book are essentially origin stories of the American theater.
Great. Back down at the bottom of near the origin. But as our stress increases,
suffering from disadvantages associated with immigrant origin, but also with
when we do this, 85% has no known origin. So it's not a.
this has proven invaluable in determining origin of incursions.
He knows the divine origin of the gospel. The gospel is what it is because
from your country of origin to a safe country if you're LGBT, because sometimes you're even safer in your own country.
That the origin of life required 10 chemical steps, and that the first step